So let's go for an opening statement by Dr. Thyroid, Mr. David Forlano.
Thanks, Gary. Welcome, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Glad to see everybody. Glad to see everybody still doing well. I think Gary has, and welcome, Cedric, to the group. Good to have you. Gary, did we want to get into a little intro with Cedric before we get into the jam?
Yeah.
Hey, Cedric, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what kind of style of music you do, how you got into music?
How did I get into music? Well, it's a long time ago.
Good story.
Yeah, it's a long story. My dad was a musician. He was a jazz drummer actually, and he played in bands, and there was music around the house. And my brother is a keyboard player, so. And then I started playing in bands at the age of 12 or something. I played the guitar and a little bit of keyboard as well. And after when I was about 20 years old, I'm 45 now, so it's a long time ago. I kind of gave up music and got into visual effects for films. So did that for about 15 years. Yeah, because I just couldn't give this up, and it kept coming back to me. And in 2009, I gave up visual effects and decided to come back full time into music. And since then, I did my music production degree at Leeds College of Music, and I'm currently on my master's degree at Leeds College of Music. So. Yeah, that's the story.
Wow.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
Any particular style that you lean toward?
Well, I played in funk groups for a time. I played in rock and roll and rock groups in the 90s. That was as a guitar player, but my composition at the moment is mostly like you guys probably film and television. So mostly electronic at the moment. So with a little bit of guitar thrown in here and there.
Good stuff. No, I appreciate it. Thanks for sharing. Hopefully soon we'll get to hear some stuff from you. I can't remember who's up this week for the triple play.
Jay Isaacson.
Jay, there you go.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking forward to hearing some stuff from Jay today. And Gary, if you want to take it away.
All right. So it's Jay Day today. You're at the Mastermind. All right. And just warning you, I got a picture of Jay as a baby. So you're in for a nice treat today. I was like, what is this? Oh, it's Jay. Wow. Okay. So Jay will be featured in the Triple Play Show and Tell. And then some exciting news for today, a couple things. So as you know, the aboveandbeyondmusic.net, in terms of that vision, has been stated and it's now published. And so we all have that. And so we're striving in that particular entity to become like the top. We want to shoot for the top, literally. So it's what I've been striving for in my career. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm well along my way. And I have a lot more to learn, but there's a lot behind me that I have learned as well, and I want to share all that with everyone, especially through critiques. And you'll find out more on the ABM meeting where we're at with setting up a critique platform so that you're constantly getting critiques back from me on your tracks and improving them so that I can then shop them, and so they can also be shopped by EJ and yourselves. And, the result here, the purpose of why we're all here is we all want to not only be successful in our careers, but to be successful in life, have a well-balanced life, and also to have lucrative income coming from your music, so that many of you have told me, like just straight out, that your goal is to do music full time. That's the number one goal I heard from everyone that's involved here. And if it's not to do music full-time, then it's definitely to step up in a big way your game within the music industry. So everything that I'm doing here is designed around that particular goal, is to either get you full-time, like able financially to do music full-time, and or to move up in the music industry itself from wherever you are now. Some of you are doing quite well. Some of you are just starting. But all of you through this platform can improve. And that's my job. So I hold that responsibility very, seriously. So today's jam is pretty interesting because I've decided to incorporate the Advanced Craftsman Clinic course, which is part of How to License Your Music Premium, into the Mastermind. I had two things that kind of took a hit during this COVID-19 thing. Like the rest of my businesses, honestly, I have never been doing as well as I'm doing right now. A lot of that's because of this whole Listen to plugin system that I, beta tested with you guys, over basically several months before the COVID-19 hit. And then when it hit, my clients were like, that's better than being there, when I'm doing these sessions with them. So the thing that didn't do well during this COVID-19 was my on-site interns. So I had like 5 interns that were actually coming here. And one of them was Joseph. Like Joseph right now is in the Bay Area. And all of my interns ended up having to, which I understand, they all had to go to do family, responsibilities. And so it took them out of town. So like all my interns were here and then boom, they're all gone. And so the Advanced Craftsman Clinic took a hit. It kind of went on hold. And so what I'm doing is this. I'm going to take that and wrap it into the Mastermind. I got really excited this morning. I woke up and I just got the light bulb went off because I had these 2 problems. And I'm like, how am I going to handle these 2 things? And I just went like this, put them together and said, okay, we're going to feed 2 birds with 1 tray here. And so that's what we're doing. So starting today, starting right now on this jam, this is going to be, so when these replays go out, and by the way, that was the other thing that took the hit. As you know, the replays have not been there. Behind the scenes, we're cranking away at getting all the replays caught up. And so I have that system all worked out here too, which will be much faster. So you'll have these replays of the Mastermind, which will comprise the curriculum of the Advanced Craftsman Clinic course. So I'm going to take you all through it, and it aligns with our purpose. So if we're going to be this group, a music licensing company that competes with the best and beats the best, which is our goal, then we all have to become advanced craftsmen at what we do. And so that's what this is going to be about. Now, if you're new, I have, I'm like I say, a researcher from hell, you know what I mean? I research and research. And the reason I research so much is so that I can summarize things with confidence and present something that's simple and clear, even if it's a complex subject, like compression, something like that. And so what I'm getting at is that if you're new to production even, or if you're very advanced, even though this course is advanced, it's going to be laid out in such a way that even someone who's newer can follow along and catch up. So just wanted to say that. So to start that out with, I discovered something yesterday. Now, I don't push plugins. I push, using your ear, not your gear, as a priority when you mix, right? So if I'm pushing a plugin, it must be something interesting, or it must be a power tool, something that will really save time and help quality control. This plugin is probably the first plugin that I've discovered. It recently just came out. It's called Blindfold EQ. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and here's a great place to start the Advanced Craftsman Clinic, right here. So this is, and you have the link for this from Dale, by the way. I got so excited this morning. I told Sean, send this to Dale to send out to you guys. So this is Blindfold EQ, and I'm going to demonstrate it in a minute. And this is like perfectly down my alley when it comes to philosophy. So it's free. It's absolutely free. Freeware EQ plugin. Blindfold EQ is a freeware EK plugin inspired by a quote by Matt Wallace from the book Recording Unhinged by Sylvia Massey. So it has 4 bands: low shelf, low mid, high shelf. And we'll go over what that is. But each knob is blind. There are no indicators of numbers to show frequency values, gain values, or Q values. You have to use your ears. I saw this thing. I'm like, I got it. I didn't even finish reading. I just got it and started using it. Now, this sounds like something that I constantly say. I love this. And this is Matt Wallace from the book Recording Unhinged by Sylvia Massey. It says, if I were king of the universe, consoles would have no indication of frequency near the EQ knobs. Console meaning the mixing desk, mixing board. So if I were king of the universe, consoles would have no indication of frequency near the EQ knobs, because when you show the frequency, then most people EQ by eye. But seriously, you should have no idea of what frequency you are boosting or cutting. So I'll read that again. But seriously, you should have no idea of what frequency you are boosting or cutting. It doesn't matter what number is. It matters how it sounds and how it feels. That's it. And so for those of you who are experienced mixers, I'm sure you know this experience and what this is like. You know, at first when you're starting out, you want to know, okay, how did he get that vocal sound? What's he doing right there? Let's see. And you're writing down. Let's see. He's cutting it around. What is that like? Okay, it's about 5,300 hertz. Okay, oh, that sounds really good. Okay, I'm going to try 5,300 hertz on mine. And, you know, good luck is all I could say. So what you want is to hear. Now, if you incorporate this thing with a being, then you're cheating. That's how it feels. That's how it feels a lot of times when I'm mixing. Like I'm cheating. Like compared to when I first started out, it just goes so much faster, and everything I'm cranking out is radio ready or, you know, broadcast quality. So let's take a look at this thing. So I'm going to open up here. Let's put a listen to in. Log in. Start transmission, copy link. And now I'll put this in. Let me find my Zoom. It's always hiding. Let's see where it is. There it is. Okay, so I'll stick this in the chat. Okay, and Jay's telling me I emailed my songs and photo for Triple Play earlier today. Thank you, Jay Day. All right. Okay, so let's see. Give me a thumbs up when you have your listen to loaded.
I can't see it in the chat, Gary.
There's no link in the chat.
Oh, okay, that might have gone to Jay because he sent me a chat. So let's see. Maybe Jay's the only one that got it.
You should send it to everyone.
Yes.
It's most likely the same one as last week.
Here we go. There we go.
I have it open all week, so...
The Fly on the Wall. The original Fly on the Wall. Sim Van Blurk. Yeah. Okay. There, everybody got the link? Awesome. Okay, so we're going to take a listen. This is the, let's see, what's today? Saturday. So yesterday I was with a client on this track, and what we did was, as you know, there was a rock version of this song. This is the I Bet It All on You by PJ Tobin. And this particular version is a piano orchestra version with vocal. And this is where we got it to. And then we're going to talk about the Advanced Craftsman Clinic. So let's just make sure everything's here. Yeah, okay. So I'll just run it for just a couple seconds here and let me know if you're hearing the track. Okay. Greg, did you have it? I saw a look of consternation.
I didn't hit the start listening button.
Okay.
It should work now.
All right, good. Good. Everybody else good? All right. So we're just going to take a listen through the track. It's the first thing. Here we go.
Took the road way less traveled, paid the price for not giving in. It was not easy, and I'm just troubled. Gather the pieces and glue them in. We made the journey, promised we'd be there. Grab some nail, we forced this thing. But now there's trouble, we got our problems. Tell me we'll make it, please don't give in. Is it raining down? And I know it's my fate. It is raining down, and I know what it takes. Whoever throws a dice decides the bet we take. Share the load, share the pride. What we face, we stand aside. I'm breaking your heart, you're breaking my mind. Turn the switch to overdrive. Soften my ways, let you in. Show the scars that fall within. Write a new story, start a new journey. I know we can make it, I won't give in. Is it raining down? And I know it's my fate. It is raining down, and I know what it takes. Whoever throws the dice decides the bet we take. Whoever stands their ground, and I bet it all, I'll bet it all on you.
So there you go. That's the latest version of the piano and orchestra version of I Bet It All on You. And so I'm going to jump right into it in terms of this new Blindfold EQ. And I just thought of, while I was listening to that, and by the way, the product that we're going for here with this client is an album. So this is the first song off of his album, and we're going to be submitting this for a Grammy. So the album itself. So I'm going to just, as part of the Advanced Craftsman Clinic, what I do is I take anyone that I've been teaching, like for 30 years, I've been doing this, apprenticing on music theory, music production, on sound design, and then on the business, networking, licensing, all that. Well, when it comes to actually getting deliverables, getting it out there so that you can make money, so that you can move forward in your career, so that you can get fans if that's what you're after, or if you're not after fans, you're still, believe it or not, you're always after fans. They may be music supervisors, and they may be libraries, they may be publishers, they may be ad agencies, they may be music editors. You need those fans, around you. So what I'm pushing, as you know, is quality. And how do you make quality fast? See, that's the basic premise of this whole course. How do you make masterpiece recordings fast? Okay, so the best way is to develop your ear. And as you know, I use this mute automation checkerboard A/Bing system, which we've gone over. But right now what I want to show you is this new plugin. So just before the Listen To plugin, I'm going to put, let's see where they put it. Probably under EQ. There it is. Okay, this is the Blindfold EQ. So I'm going to give you a demonstration here of how to use this thing. You have the link, and it's for Macs and PCs. You can download it. And we're going to take a look at this interface right here, this GUI, and this one here, this graphic. So if you go into you know, the typical EQ, which has visual on it, you can take and move around by hand or by knob, you know, and you can see if it's low or mids or highs. You can see it. And this is the McGurk effect at work. So whenever I do use these types of EQs, I try to do it with my eyes closed. And that's what's nice about this. You don't have to worry about closing your eyes. Your eyes will be closed because you won't be seeing anything or any numbers, just some knobs. So now the Q, let's talk about the Q. You see this?
But you can see if it's low or...
What's that? It looks like he froze up. Okay, so you see this Q knob right here. And this is low mid frequencies, low mids. Now, where are low mids? They're around here. Low mids are around here. So between 100 and 500, somewhere in there. That's low mid. That's what this is doing, this red one. Low mid frequencies. But what's cool is you don't even need to know that. It's better not to know that. But I want to show you so that you don't look at these numbers and have a confusion while you're using it. So at least you know what it's doing. Low mid frequencies, okay? High mid frequencies from about 500 up to 2K, somewhere around there. High mids, okay?
Gary,
yes.
Can I ask a question quick? Isn't this then just the same as the EQing on a mixing desk?
Yes.
Old analog, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And the only difference, Sam, is that they did have numbers on the mixing desk.
That was different for each brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Depending on how much space there was.
Exactly. So you have low mid frequencies, high mid frequencies, and then high frequency. These are shelves, they're called. I'll show you what a shelf is. If I go to the high here, it says high shelf. And I turn this on. It literally looks like a shelf. It goes like this, and it's like a shelf up here. That's a high shelf. Okay. And then here, low shelf. Same thing. You see, it's like a shelf. So as I move it around, that's how it reacts. Or it can do this. You know, it moves the shelf up or down. Same on the high, up or down. That's what this green one is doing. The green one is low shelf, which is here. So this is the green low frequencies, and then high frequencies. So when you're turning this, as I'm turning the frequency, what it's doing is it's going like this, either this way or that way. Left or right is this. The gain is going up or down. So it's going up or down, up or down. High frequencies. Okay, this blue one is frequency. Steve says frequency. So it's going back and forth this way. Let me get that out of there. 3. It's going back and forth. And the gain is going up or down. So it's going like this. frequency here, low mid frequency would be somewhere around here. Okay. And that would be going right or left. So it's going right or left in the low mid frequencies. And the Q is how wide the chosen frequency is. So if I turn it up, it's going to either be, and I think I remember from doing it yesterday, I just started using it last night. I think when you turn it to the right, it makes it skinny. And to the left, it makes it fat. See that? It's either thin or wide. Thin or wide. And that's the Q, thin or wide. I believe it's that way. But what's great is I don't know, and that's good, because I have to use my ear to figure it out. So that's a low mid frequency. This would be high mid frequency here. Frequency would be going to the right or the left. So to the right or the left within the high mid frequencies. And then the Q again would be thin, wide. So what is this, number 2? Thin or wide, thin or wide. And then the gain, higher or lower. So that would go like this, higher or lower, higher or lower. So right away, you know how I always show you, I've shown you several times, for those of you that have been on the mastermind for a while, this, I call it search and destroy. You know, you look for the weirdness and anything that's like potentially bad in your mix, you go back and forth and you find it and then you lower it. Okay. Well, here, let's say you're doing this, okay, in the high mid frequencies, going like this, found something, I lowered it. So how would you do that here? You'd make your Q skinny. So make your Q skinny. And then you turn the gain up. That would make this go up. And then you start sweeping the frequencies back and forth and back and forth. And that gives you this, back and forth and back and forth. And then once you found something, let's say we found this, then you pull it down if you want to, and you'd pull it down. So this, I'm very excited about this thing, because I'm normally, like, this is going to help me because I do this with my eyes closed, but obviously, you know, there are things that are going to make it much faster for me to use this. And the only limitation on this is that you have two frequencies, low mid frequency and high mid frequency, where, you know, there's just two available for you to do this with. Like here I have 4 potential. So that's easily fixed by just adding another instance, or 3 or 4. Like people will look in my mixes sometimes and they'll see like 5 EQs sometimes. And the reason for that is I'll find something like this. Like I'll find something, you know, that maybe that sounds good or whatever. I have something like that. And then I want to make it better. So instead of going in on this EQ and changing it around, I just leave it. I freeze it. This is definitely Advanced Craftsman. What I'm showing you right now is this philosophy of instead of adjustment, it's additive plugins. It's not because I like using lots of plugins. My plugins will usually just do like light work. You know, hopefully you've recorded things well and you don't have to do too much. But even if you have to do heavy work, once I get a mix to sound good, I freeze that, I hold that, I maintain that goodness instead of ruining it like I used to. I used to go like, okay, now I'm going to make the sound better. Let me adjust this and that and this. And then I ruined it. I ruined my mix. So now I just keep it there if I like where I'm at. And I add another one. And I then make adjustments on this one. And now I'm closer to where I want to be because I'm A-Bing, and I might have to do it again, but it's fine. It's like, it's a great workflow for me. And every time I've shown it to students and used it, what they tell me is they're able to increase the quality and the speed at which they're mixing. So with this plugin, I'm excited because I'm going to be doing the same thing if necessary. And it probably will be necessary from time to time because it's only got 2 things on it. So Now I'm going to take the whole mix. We're going to run it through this thing, and we're going to compare doing it here visually, and then we're going to compare doing it here. And your homework for this week, okay, so we're going to be doing weekly homework on this Advanced Craftsman Clinic, is to take this plugin, free plugin, download it, put it in your mix, and then use it on your full mix to start with. And here's a way to get advanced at mixing, what I've learned over the years after like trial and error and doing it wrong for so long, is whenever you start something new like this, you're gonna do music production ear training called the Blindfold EQ music production ear training exercise. Start with something that's obvious to you, not subtleties. So the best way to start with something that's obvious is to stick this thing on your full mix, because then as you make changes, you're going to hear them. Like if I said, do this on an acoustic guitar, okay, it'll work, but you're not going to learn as much, because it's going to be, you really have to get your ear up to a very high level to hear the nuances on some things. And some of those nuances don't matter, and some of the nuances do. So here's another advanced concept here is, how do you know when something that's subtle matters or when something that's subtle doesn't matter? Because that is true in mixing. There are subtle things that matter, and there are subtle things that don't matter. That's like, sounds a little crazy, but that's the art of what we do. You know, science goes only so far when you're dealing with an invisible, subjective art form, which music is. And I'm going to lay out in the course exactly what subtleties I have found that matter and what subtleties just don't matter. Then you can save time and you can put your attention on those subtleties that matter. All right, so let's try this. We'll just test this thing to start out with. Okay. And let me ask a question. I'm wondering if this is affecting my voice at all. Let's just see. Check 1, 2. Shouldn't be. Okay. Because I do have a talkback going through my DAW, but it's Zoom pulls my voice right from the computer too. All right, here we go. Let's see if we get this thing working.
Took the
You can't hear any
road,
sound going.
well, let's tread.
Are you hearing sound? Oh,
I'm not.
interesting.
No, no.
Only when you talk.
Okay, let's take a
Yeah,
look.
that's what I meant. Just no music.
Let's see. It's transmitting.
I could hear it fine. Sorry.
Okay.
You could hear the music just now.
Yeah, I could hear it fine. Yeah.
So
Okay, I'll refresh. Listen to and see if that works.
yeah, try refreshing. That's
It says
interesting.
it's connected.
Did anyone else hear it? Any thumbs up? Okay.
You try
That's weird.
playing it again, Gary.
That's probably Dan, because you did the so much music production ear training before with me.
No, I've got it in my DAW. I don't have it in a browser. I run it through my DAW.
Oh, okay.
Can you just play a little bit of the music? I've just
Yeah, here we go.
Paid the price for not giving
yeah, it's back
in.
again.
It was not easy.
Peter, did you refresh? Did you refresh your page?
Yes, I refreshed, but still not getting anything.
Okay. I saw a lot of thumbs up, though, that time. Okay. Show me thumbs again.
And I'm just trouble. Gather the pieces and glue them in. We made the journey, Promised we'd be there.
There it is.
Grabs a nail before this thing. But now there's trouble. We got a problems. Tell me we'll make it. Please don't give in. Is it raining down? And I know it's my fate. It is raining now, and I know what it takes. Whoever throws a dash decides the path we take. Whoever stands their ground, and I bet it all, I'll bet it all on you. Share the load, share the pride. What we face, we stand aside. I'm breaking your heart, you're breaking my mind. Turn the switch to overdrive. Soften my ways, let you in. Show the scars that fall within. Writing your story, start a new journey. I know we can make it.
Okay, so this is awesome. I mean, just for me, this is awesome. I love this because I'm usually doing this, what I'm doing right here with my eyes closed. And the fact that I can have my eyes closed and work faster is just perfect. Now I'm going to try something we have never done before. I thought about this morning. I'll just choose somebody. Let's take, Peter, are you hearing it now? Okay. Actually, let's take Jay. It's Jay Day. Okay, Jay, I want you to try something. Go on Zoom and under request remote control. You can turn your mic on.
Yeah, okay, here I am. Request remote control under where now?
I have a remote control there, but let's see. It's usually there's 3 dots. It might be there, or there's an actual remote control icon. Depends on your toolbar.
Well, okay, hold on here. Alrighty, let's see.
And let me see. I want you all to search for it because in these masterminds,
it's under view options.
View options, good. Yeah. So I want everyone right now just to take a moment and find that. So where is it, Jay? Explain where it is.
It's under view options at the top of your screen.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think it's only occurring because it says I'm viewing your screen. I'm viewing Gary Gray's screen. So that's why it gives me the option.
Okay, good. Give me a thumbs up when you found this option on your Zoom, you guys.
Found it.
Good. Do you see it, Joseph? What's that?
I don't.
Okay. Jay, you want to describe it again?
It's on the top menu bar.
Very top menu bar, right?
Under what?
It's in the middle on the top. It's not in the menu bar. It's for me. It's a green thing in the middle, and then few options.
It's in the middle.
It's a small black.
Yep.
It's really small.
Okay, so request remote control. Yeah, I see it. Okay. Thank you.
That's what it is.
Okay. So we're going to just do one at a time. I don't want to get like 20 requests. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll blow up Zoom or what. But so we're going to go Jay. So in these, we're going to make this much more interactive. We're going to be opening up your DAWs, and then you're going to be actually controlling my DAW, and we'll talk about, what you're getting out of it and what you're hearing. So go ahead and Jay, request.
All right. Yes. Okay.
Okay, I approved it. So now you can just click on my screen somewhere. Now try to move some of those knobs.
Okay, hold on here.
We'll see if this works with a group.
Oh, it says use my keyboard layout or use Gary Gray's keyboard layout.
Not sure. I haven't seen that. I do a lot of remotes, but I haven't seen a window like that before.
So now it says my keyboard is mapped to your layout.
Okay. But use your mouse and go ahead and try to move some of those knobs.
Actually, no, all I'm seeing is you. I got to change what I'm viewing, I guess. Side-by-side mode? Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go.
Nice.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. That's Jay. Okay, this is cool.
Low frequency. Well,
wow.
look at that. All right, and the high frequency, can we do that? Yeah, there we go.
And now we're in the Jam by Jay. This is the Jam by Jay on J Day. Okay, so I'm gonna hit play. And the way the remote works, Jay, is that one of us can be controlling at a time, but not two.
Right.
So I'll hit play and stop. And what I want you to do is just go through this thing and start making adjustments. Now I'm just going to kind of put things back to 0 here. It's probably a way. See, I just got this, so there's probably an easy way to just. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
There. Initial. Okay. You ready?
Yep. Let me just turn this on. Okay.
Okay, so this is Jay Isaacson on Blindfold EQ, and so I'll let it run. Let me put a loop on it. Okay, here we go.
I won't give in. Is it raining down? And I know it's my face.
You have to turn your mic off, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
I knew that. Hold on. Hello. 1 second here. Now I'm in the other. All right, now that I'm in the screen, how will I do that?
I read an article the other day that, like you have the Supreme Court doing like Zoom meetings for cases and senators, and they're talking about how nobody can unmute their mics and everybody's going through their mute moments on Zoom. And they said that in the latest Supreme Court case, instead of covering the court case itself, the big news was that you could hear a toilet flushing in the middle of their court case. Okay, sign of the times. Okay, let me grab control here for a second. I gotta turn it. Oh, here, I'll just hit spacebar. You ready? Here we go.
It is raining now, and I know what it takes. Whoever throws the dice decides the path we take. Whoever stands the ground, and I bet it all, I'll bet it all on you.
So you'll notice that there's no change in EQ unless you're moving the gain. So the frequency, what it does is it chooses a frequency. So it chooses a frequency, and that would be like this. So I'll show you just so you can let go of your mouse for a second. So it would choose a frequency, which would be the same as if I just chose a frequency, would be like this. See how I'm choosing a frequency, but it's making no change at all. That would be the same as choosing a frequency here. Then you've got to move it up or down, which is moving it up or down.
Right, okay.
Okay? All right, good. So here we go. All right, here we go.
It is raining now, and I know what it takes. Whoever throws the dice decides the path we take. Whoever stands the ground, and I bet it all, I'll bet it all on you.
Good. All right, good. So then there's a thing that says, I think it says stop remote on there. Got that? Okay, good.
Yep.
So this is homework for all of you. And what I want you to do is to, in your DAW, there's a specific homework, is to open up the normal EQ that you use, whatever it is, put the Blindfold EQ next to it and try to duplicate something that you've done here. So let's say I made a skinny EQ and I did somewhere in the low mids and I moved it up louder. Okay, so go skinny EQ in the low mid frequencies and I made it louder. And I went back and forth with it. So I went back and forth and back and forth. So do this while the music is going with the visual one, and then try to replicate, as closely as you can, the similar activity in the Blindfold EQ. And if you just keep doing that back and forth, that's what I was doing yesterday, you're going to find something amazing that happens, which is you'll experience how much the McGurk effect affects you when you're mixing, like how much this is affecting what you're hearing, like seeing this, just seeing this happen. Has this happened to any of you? I'm sure you're all going to go like this, because it's happened to me like when I started out hundreds of times. I was on the wrong track, right? A track that had nothing on it, and I'm like going like this. And I'm going, ooh, that sounds a lot better. That sounds a lot better right there. and I heard, I mean, that is the power of what I call the mental mixing board. It's amazing.
That's very relatable.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing how powerful illusions are in the human mind when it comes to visual and sound.
But Gary, I even experienced that. I studied for audio engineering in the 80s. So that was still all analog.
Yeah.
And even then, when you were turning the wrong knob because you were turning the bass from the wrong channel.
Yeah.
And then you thought you were turning up the middle of the next channel, and then you could hear more mid.
Yeah.
And it was so stupid.
Well,
and that was blind.
Yeah. Yes.
So even then,
yes,
just because you think you're doing a certain thing.
Yeah. 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 I call that the tactile McGurk effect. That's what I call that. It's where you don't have a visual, but you're actually touching something and moving it around. So, yeah. So that will happen. Like if you put this Blindfold EQ on the wrong track, but you start learning what it does, and you're going like this, and then you're going like this, and you're going, ooh, that sounds a lot better right there. So
yeah, the knobs should just be all black and random each time what they do.
That would be good. Yeah.
Then you really mix blind.
Yeah, like every time you open it up, you don't know what they are. Yeah.
No, exactly.
That should be the second series, the random blindfold series.
That's what we're gonna make.
Yeah. There you go.
Above and beyond mixing EQing system.
That would be awesome.
Sounds like a nightmare.
But I bet you your mixes will sound great, though. Yeah. So that's your homework. That is your homework for this week. And I'm very, very excited. I really am excited about this. Very excited. It may seem just like a small little thing, but I don't care how advanced you are and how successful you are. Doing this, because it blew me away, and I'm mixing for major corporations and labels every week. And this thing blew me away. I was like, this is awesome. So any questions? Any questions on this and on the homework for this week?
So Gary, you're saying putting both plugins side by side and moving the one that you can see and trying to match up the Blindfold plugin to that?
Yeah, so what I would do is I'll show you. So I would have these both on the same track, which is going to be your overall mix. Again, the homework is to put it on your overall mix. You'll drive yourself crazy if you start this thing out on a single track. It's going to at first seem so nuanced that you're going to just waste time. So put it on the whole mix, because any little move you make you're going to hear it. So Peter, just first make some move, whatever move you're going to make. Do it on the visual one, okay? And then at least say to yourself, where am I? I'm in somewhere in the low mid frequencies, okay? And I'm moving stuff around. And then turn that off. So after you've heard that, then go to this one, and then Go low, mid frequencies. Okay, do the same thing here. Skinny EQ. I'm going to turn it up, and I'm going to sweep the frequencies. Do the same thing here, and I'm going to, I hear something kind of bad. I'm going to take it down a little bit. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right, good. Good.
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
It might be that we could A/B the EQ with a normal EQ, just make a track that has that on it, and then A/B between that and the unaffected track where you're now experimenting with the blindfold EQ.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Good idea. So, and then the next part of the homework is this, is to add another instance of this plugin. So we'll just start with 2. After you've done whatever you've done, add another instance and then do the same thing to see if you can improve the sound of it. So that's the first half of your homework. The second half of your homework is to use this thing while you're looping a mute automation A/B in a mix. So while I'm here, okay, I make a loop, and I'm doing some mute automation, A/Bing. So here's my mute automation. So you're going between the reference and your mix, and the reference and your mix, and the reference and your mix. And place that on your mix. So for me, I call this, for myself, I call it, see, there's number 1, stereo bus out, glue. What that means is anything that I want my mix to be glued with, like in this case, it's a multiband compressor. I put my mix through a multiband compressor, which you don't have to. But in this case, what I do is I have the option of putting things through the glue. They call it gluing your mix together. And then, or not, which is here. Stereo bus out final. My entire mix goes here. So some of the things are going through the glue and some are not. And you'll find this is an advanced mixing technique. It's routing your, you know what I'm going to try? On my other computer, this is a new computer. I'm just going to try this and see if this will whiteboard. For some reason, my other computer didn't do that. Let's try it. Does everybody?
Is mute automation the same as checkerboard or A/B?
Yeah. Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah. Give me a thumbs up. Do you guys see a whiteboard? Okay, now let's see if I can draw. Okay, so let's see. Maybe it'll work on this computer. So if I have my stereo bus out, and then, see, I don't see any, usually you can have controls to type. You're going to have to do with my scratch. Stereo bus out. Number 2 is no glue. This is so primitive, huh? Okay. So, and then number 1 is stereo bus out with glue.
What's glue?
Okay, glue is like a compressor or a limiter. When you talk to like A-list mixers and mastering engineers, they use the term glue to glue your mix together. So you have your mix down here. This is all your instruments and vocals. And you might have them in groups and whatever. And so normally people do this. And this is what they're taught. To send your mix and glue it together with like a compressor or limiter. And what I found was that, or limiter, is that you won't I wasn't getting always my mix to sound like the reference track if I did just this, what you see right here, which is like 90% of the way people mix or are taught to mix is exactly what you see here. What I started to experiment with and discovered, and it immediately started giving me more radio ready and broadcast quality mixes is that some of the elements in my mix did not sound good going through that glue. So what I did was I would route this track to a second track that had nothing on it. No plugins, 0. And then that track was routed to the DAW stereo bus out. So this is your routing. So I would take some elements of my mix, let's say vocals. So here's my vocals. And, before they were going to the, with everything else, to the glue. Then I just started trying this. Bypass that glue, send the vocals straight to this aux track. So if you're in Logic, it would be an aux track, or Cubase would be a group track. Ableton would be an aux track. You would route your vocal, just as an example. Now, this doesn't always work. By the way, this is art we're talking about right here. The setup is science. Okay, this setup, having your mix down here, having your glue set up, having your no glue set up, having it routed to your DAW stereo, that's the science. Here's the art. Is try different elements, take them out of the glue, and route them straight to no glue. And you may find what I found, which is sometimes amazing things happen to your mix. You're like, oh my God, I've been trying to get that kind of sound in my vocals forever. That's what happened to me. Now, it doesn't work every time. Sometimes the vocals sound better going into the glue. That's the art. How do you know? Use your checkerboard. Use your A/B. Compare it to the production of the reference track. You'll hear it. You'll hear it. It'll get closer to or further away from your reference track. And when you set that vocal back and forth, it's easy because all you're doing is changing the routing. So I'll show it to you now. Okay, so now we'll show you a real life example. So here's SBO glue and then no glue right there. So let's go to vocal. Okay, so here's my vocal group. You can see it. See, now here's what I did. I was telling you about this. Here's advanced mixing right here. On 22 March, I set up a vocal group, and I had different. You remember I told you about EQs? Look at these EQs, right? Several EQs here. Just look at that one little thing, because I didn't want to ruin this one. I set up this one, and I just wanted to save that no matter what, because I knew if I start tinkering around, I'd change all this. So I found something that worked there, and then here I found something else, and I didn't want to ruin what I had before it. And this made it sound better. And if any of these ruined it, I could just turn them off. But I saves so much time. It gets good quality. So this was 22 March. What my vocals were all routed to this aux, or this group. And this is what I had found was good. Then on 9 May, which is actually today, it was last night, late last night, I said, you know what, I just want to try from scratch on these vocals. So I set up another group, just like I set up another EQ. And there's nothing here. I took everything off, and I turned down a little bit of reverb, turned it way down, and I got what I felt was a better sound. Now this, look where it's routed. I don't know if you can see this. To SBO final, no glue. So what I did was I took the vocals and I took them out of the glue and sent them straight to SBO final, no glue. So I'm going to go back and forth. Let's see the difference. And I haven't even, I'm actually working right now. Like right now, what I'm about to do is exactly what I was going to do next. So we'll actually see this in action. what I'm going to do is I'm going to A-B while you're watching, taking the vocal and putting it back into the glue, taking it out of the glue, back into the glue, taking it out of the glue. And let's just see what happens. And this is the art. Like, for me to even predict what's going to happen, that's what I used to do. I used to say to myself, oh, well, I already know, that it's going to sound better without the glue. That's when my mixes were not so good. So now I just say to myself, I always just say, I have no clue. I have no idea. I'm just going to listen. I just want to listen and see. I want to find out for myself what sounds better. So here we go. Let's grab that 9 May. There it is.
Gary, are you putting the vocal stems into the glue, into the no glue first, and then putting the no glue into the glue? Or how are you doing that?
The routing is always this, is that your glue gets routed. See, now in this case, I stuck something in between. I put an actual EQ on this group so that I could A/B it with and without. I didn't have to do that. I just did that.
Gary, can you send one stem to more than one group?
Yes.
At a time?
You could theoretically, yes. Yeah, you could do a send return to more than one place if you wanted to. You could, yeah.
Okay.
So to answer your question, the vocal before, which I'm going to do right now, I'm going to route the vocal to here, to this SBO glue. Right now it's routed here, no glue, which shows nothing. No EQ, no plugins, nothing. That's no glue. I'm going to route it back here to glue, which has a multi-band compressor on it. Okay, so we're going to see if there's any difference at all. Here we go. So we're going to take 9 May, boom, here, and I'll just change to glue. I'll be going like this. I'll be going to glue, and then I'll be going no glue. Simple as that. Glue, no glue. And you just become familiar with your routing in your DAW. They all do the same thing, this basic same thing. So we'll start with where it is, no glue. Okay, here we go. We'll go here.
And it's just the vocals you're doing this with?
That's correct. Yes, I'm doing this with this is the vocal groups. This is all vocals together. So whether,
okay, thanks.
Yeah, this includes background vocals, etc. You can do it with just the lead vocal. You can do it with anything. Okay, so here we go.
Took the road way less traveled, paid the price for not getting. It was not easy, and I'm just troubled. Gather the pieces and glue them in. We made the journey, promised we'd be there. Grab some nail, we forced this thing. Now that we got our problems, tell me we'll make it, please don't give in. Is it raining down? And I know it's my fate. It is raining now.
So in this case, I don't really hear any difference hardly at all. And that'll happen sometimes too. Now sometimes it's a dramatic difference, and that's why this is an art. Sometimes you get a dramatic difference. And it depends how much glue you've put on it too. You know, if, I haven't really changed much in terms of. Now it'll act differently on different things. So now I used to think this. I would test one thing and I'd go, oh, it doesn't make any difference. So I wouldn't try it on anything else because it doesn't make any difference. But then I'd go in my mix and I'd try it on a kick drum. I'll give you the stuff that comes up, like a rule of thumb, which is not law. It's just a rule of thumb. Vocals, kick drums, snare drums, bass, which is interesting because those are some of the most important things in a mix. They tend to make the most dramatic difference. So what I'll do here, since this is the mastermind, I'm going to make the glue. I'm going to show you so you have some reality on this, because this is what happens sometimes. let's do a more dramatic something on the glue. Okay.
And I know what it takes. Whoever throws a dance decides the path we take. Whoever stays.
Okay, so I made the glue itself a little more dramatic. And sometimes that's how the glue is, because it sounds good on the mix. And now we'll go back and forth and see what it sounds like. So we'll go 9 May. Let me loop the vocal. Okay. 9 May. Where'd you go? There you are.
Took the road way less traveled, paid the price for not giving in. Was not easy, and I'm just trouble to gather the pieces and glue.
Oh, you know what it is that I switched back to a different routing last night. That's why we're not hearing anything. Hey, McGurk effect. Well, I passed because I said nothing was changing, and actually nothing changed. Isn't that funny? Good thing I said that, because this is recorded. So let's find what the routing is. Yeah, see, this is exactly where I was. Like, this is cool because this is great, actually, for you to see this. Because, you know, you think that people that are doing like lucrative mixes all the time, A-level mixes, that things always go like exactly per plan and stuff like, and you're seeing something that happens in a typical session, not just to me, to everybody, just so you know. Like, you're not the only one where the McGurk effect hits, you routed something, you come back in on a session and you're like, wait, where did I route? Wait, that's not there. What? So that's, you know, that's typical. So let's see where the vocals are routed. So let's go down here. All vocals for routing. Okay, that's what I set up. All vocals for routing here. So let me see if I hit play. Let's see what's coming out of here. Okay, there it is. See, I did this last night. All vocals for routing. And so now it's going no glue, and then I'll put it into the glue. So here we go.
Well, let's travel, paid the price. Not giving in, the world's not easy, and I'm just trouble. Gather the pieces and glue them.
Okay, I definitely heard
that was a bit loud, Gary.
But that's good. See, this is what happens. It can be a very dramatic change. Very, very dramatic. And that's an advanced mixing technique right there. The most fascinating thing about that technique is the fact that one of my favorite albums of all time, I found out that that album was produced in this way after an argument that held up the release of one of the greatest albums ever made, in my estimation, in the history of the music industry. It was The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. And half the band said, we want a more compressed sound, and half the band said, no, we want like no glue. Some said glue versus no glue, right? Because glue sounds more refined and it has a sound to it. You know, if you've done a lot of mixing, you'll know what compression sounds like. And it can be a good thing. It can be pleasant for the listener. Sometimes it stops the music from being dynamic. Like when a snare hits, the snare doesn't hit quite as hard or loud or open or doesn't breathe. Same with vocals and stuff. So half the band of Pink Floyd wanted their album to be more compressed, more kind of polished off. And the half of the band wanted it to be just dynamic. When it got loud, let it get loud, let it breathe. And they actually, for like 3 months, I think it was 3 months, they delayed the release of the album because the band was fighting with the producer. The producer was in the middle, you know? And so they hired a new producer to come in, not to fire the other producer, but they hired a new producer to come in who they knew was a really good diplomat. He was really good with people, just to solve the argument. And you know what that producer did? He did exactly, and this is after I discovered this whole thing. I was like, that's it. That's the no glue thing that I do. He took some of the stuff in the album and the tracks, and he put them through no glue and some through glue. And then the guys that were the glue, they're like, okay, good. That was a compromise. The no glue guys go, okay, good. We got some stuff. No, like, oh, put my drums through no glue. Okay, we'll put it through no glue. We'll put my guitars through glue. Okay, there. You're through the glue. And they listened to it and they went, wow, it sounds great. It actually sounded better than either glue or no glue. It sounded better. And so I'm showing you an advanced technique that you can use. This is something you can use right away. And you have a great example, Dark Side of the Moon. So there you go. You like that? Okay. All right, good. So we're going to switch to Jay Day right now. And Jay, I'm going to find your email with your music and your blackmail photo, which in this case is a baby photo.
Yeah.
So warning you. All right, Jay, give us a background on yourself, and I'll go in and I'll find your stuff.
All right. So, hey, everybody. So, I was born in Detroit. I'm a Detroiter originally, and I know who else is a Michigander. Greater Alexander is. In fact, I think you know my brother-in-law, Eric Hogemeyer. We talked about that on Facebook one time. Yeah. So, so I grew up with a piano in the basement, a big upright player piano. That's kind of how I learned. The player part never worked, but I took lessons from a lady down the street from like when I was age 8 through high school. And, but I also played a band instrument in elementary through high school. Not a cool one though, the clarinet. I don't play clarinet anymore, so I'm not offering any clarinet services, but that's what I played. So, and then when I was growing up, when I was really young, I just, well, there I am. Yeah, there I am. So I was born in 1966. That's me, I guess, when I was about a year old. I call that my first house concert, right? Because I'm a piano player and I'm a singer, and I do both at the same time, a singing piano player. But when I was young, growing up, I really wasn't into rock music. It was just kind of, it sounded abrasive to me, you know. So I first liked lighter artists. Don't laugh, but I was a big Barry Manilow fan. But that's probably explains the way I sing to some extent. But as I got older, of course, my musical tastes have greatly changed and everything. And then when I went to high school, I was in the jazz ensemble, playing piano. I never really studied jazz, but I kind of know it enough to help when I perform live. So there's that. So after high school, I went to Michigan State University on a Evans scholarship. If you've ever heard of the caddy scholarship, I was a caddy. And so that's how that worked. But I didn't study music. I guess I was just more practical. I was thinking back then, what am I going to do with music? I know people teach, but of course this was like 35 years ago, right? So, so I did general business administration. So I've kind of a business background. So I was at Michigan State. I was in a big band playing piano. And then I did music for a campus ministry there, a Lutheran church. And I still do church music today, in fact. So a lot of varied musical experiences. And then it was around this time, later high school and in college, that I started writing some songs with a high school friend of mine. And near the end of college, I put together a 10-song cassette album for friends and family. In fact, I show and tell here. Did anyone ever have this? Fostex X50.
I have that one at home.
Yeah.
It doesn't work anymore, but my Yamaha still works.
Exactly. And
Is
then
that a 4-track?
What was that?
Is that a 4-track?
Yeah, Fostex 4-track. So, you know, you get to be really creative. So I had this too. I don't use this, but that's a Roland TR-505. Remember that? Of course, a TR-808 is the big one, but so you program your drums and play live bass with it, and then you'd bounce over to there, bounce here, and then anyway, it was pretty cool. So I made a 10-song cassette album for family and friends, and was interested in songwriting, but didn't ever see it as something, you know, practical to do, because I was always a practical guy. So, but a friend of mine and myself, we did a demo of a song that it's kind of like a power ballad type of song, and there was a local DJ that would play original music, Alan Almond, if any one of you know that name, in Detroit area. So he played the song for like a couple of months on his show, which was really cool. And I was thinking, you know, I I should really do something with this music, but I'm not, sure exactly what I should be doing, because I felt like I had to be responsible. And, anyway. So it was in college that I met my future wife, Karen, and we got married in 1990, and it'll be 30 years coming up in July that we've been married. So, so on that little album, I wrote some songs about her and all of that. And then actually we moved to Milwaukee from Detroit area because she had the better job opportunity at the time. She's a dietitian at Milwaukee's VA hospital, and she still is to this day. And I'll tell you a little bit more about her in a little bit. And so then I was in a couple sales jobs, but then I went to work for Casio Interstate Music. And maybe some of you have gotten the Interstate Music catalog through the years, the drum catalog or the guitar catalog. I used to put those together, copywriting and some work with Photoshop and all of that. So that's what I did for a couple of decades, actually, while I was doing music stuff on the side as a singer piano player. I play mainly private events, everything from wedding ceremonies, cocktail hour, country club stuff. I even do senior shows I've been setting up. Of course, I'm not doing any of that currently during our shutdown right now, but because I love doing Sinatra stuff, but I'll do stuff in the 70s, so I try to do a big variety. But the writing thing has always been in the back of my mind, and thinking, okay, I should really do that. So I think now at this point that I'm learning with Gary and Aaron's resources and the studio stuff that I have, that I can produce some stuff and really make this more of a thing. So I want to thank Gary for that. And the other thing too, I just the home studio Bible that you put together, I actually went and got that printed at a local printer that prints stuff really inexpensively. So that's been cool. That's been a big help. So always trying to grasp as much knowledge as possible.
Awesome. You're welcome.
And then the other thing, so I was in a couple of bands too. I was in a kind of a bar blues band called Aces and Eights for a couple of years in the early 90s. And then I was in a wedding variety band called Rumor for like 15 years. So I've done some of that live music too. And so nowadays I'm doing music for my church, and I do singing piano player stuff. And there's a lot of music in me that I know I can start bringing out now with my technology and learning all this stuff. So it's cool. I love music, as all of us do. But now I think I can finally do what I really want to do with this. So
awesome.
And we have real quick, we have 3 kids, ages 17 through 25. And yeah, so that's a little summary of me.
Excellent. That's great. And I appreciate the music history as well, seen through the Fostex and other equipment.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
I saw a lot of smiles and nods on that stuff. All right, so we're going to share screen, and we're going to go to the triple play for Jay.
Yeah, and I'll explain what we got here.
Okay.
So I ordered them in numerical order.
Okay, and I think they laid out that way. All right, good. And so go ahead, tell us about the first one. Whoop, what happened to Jay? Let's see if he's there. Oh, what a time to go down. Right on your J Day. Well, we may be enjoying Jay's music, and he'll have to watch the replay on this one. Well, it was good timing, though. He did get his whole bio in first, so that's good. And we'll let the music speak for him right now. So I'll keep an eye and see if Jay comes back, but we'll feature his music. So I have 3 tracks here. One is Jingle Bells. Is he coming back? I saw something. No. Jingle Bells Jazzy, and then Oh Holy Night. So we're going to actually have like December here in May. How do you like that? Yeah, you can watch this replay in December. How's that? Okay, so let's listen to the first one. I see something in the chat. Okay, here, I'll share that listen to link again. Here we go. Yeah, I think somebody else did too. There's the listen to link.
Gary, you sent that to Cedric
Oh,
privately.
okay. Yeah, here we go. There we go. There it is. Thanks, Sean. Okay, good. So, all right. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear the music here. This is going to be Jay Isaacson and Jingle Bells Jazzy.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
What? Oh, I've got a... Okay, excuse me for that. That was a loop from before. We'll take it from there. Here we go.
Sleigh.
All right. A little Christmas there for you. Okay. So here's the next one. I guess we get a little more Christmas. Oh, Holy Night. Here we go.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth.
All right. And then we're going to hear, let's give him a hand for that one.
Oh, I'm back.
Just in time for some applause.
It seems like my internet kind of went. I don't know what's going on. I'm on my phone now.
Wow. I was saying that was amazing timing. You got your full bio in.
Oh, okay.
So it held out for you. Yeah, we heard the Jingle Bells Jazzy, and then
Okay.
And then part of Oh Holy Night.
All right.
And as they were clapping, you came back on.
Yeah. So here I am.
Awesome.
I don't know what happened. This last song is a song that I'm co-writing with a friend of mine who's better at lyrics than I am, and it comes out of the idea of any songs with lyrics that are used for licensing should have universal lyrics, because you don't want to be too specific. So this is kind of a song with a travel journey type of idea. It's called My Best Laid Plans. It's about doing stuff and not just talking about it. So that's what this little snippet is.
Awesome. Here we go. My Best Laid Plans on J-Day.
Oh, I can't hear it now.
Out the door, I'm sometimes unsure which way to turn, but I must decide. I try more, take the winding path that just might burn. got no reason to hide, so I can see my shadow by my side. As I tread, I make the journey mine by counting clouds. I see how far I've come. My feet are dead, but dreams ensure I keep them on the ground. Remember where I'm from, so I can see my shadow on the sun. My best laid plans are pulling me ahead, judged by what is done, not what is said. My best laid plans are showing me the way, judged by where I go, not where I stay. The wind is swift as I turn to feel it on my back. The push can help me fly. I can't drift, so I use a steady hand to stay on track. Get my guidance from the sky, so I can see my shadow way up high.
All right. You can unmute, Jay.
Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm on my phone. So
Yeah. Nice, very nice. Yeah, those are good lyrics for licensing, and that's something that we're definitely going to be touching on too. And that's correct. Universal licensing, universal subjects. Where is that track at? I see it's partial. Are you something you're working on still?
Well, it was a couple of years ago when we first worked on it, and so the song is complete, but now I'm just, I think like all of us, sometimes we'll hear different ideas. We want to figure what in our head we want to put into the production, and then is that going to be the right way or not? So, but yeah, I've just been coming back to that this week. So maybe half done, perhaps.
Okay, good. Nice start. Excellent.
Thank you.
All right, so let's give Jay a big round of applause for J Day, 9 May, 2020. J Day on 9 May.
Good job, buddy.
Nice tracks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, cool. So perfect timing. It's 2:30. We'll go a half hour on Above and Beyond Music. I got some really cool things. And everything about the next meeting is going to be about getting your music critiqued, about you getting your music produced, getting it, written, produced, any visual media put on it that's necessary, and getting it shopped. And on the way there, it's going to be critiqued, and we're going to set up a system for getting that done so that we get a lot of tracks licensed and get lucrative income coming in. All right? So let's have a closing statement by Dr. Thyroid. David Forlano.
Good stuff today, Gary. I enjoyed the jam with the glue and the no glue. I know Jay can't do a chair spin without his computer up, but if there's a way we can select somebody for next week.
Oh, can you see everybody, Jay? You can't see everybody on your screen, can
Not
you?
sure. I'm restarting to see if that's going to be an issue. So
why don't you choose somebody to do the chair spin? How's that?
Okay. Who should do the chair spin? Well, let's see here. Oh, I really do zoom on. Okay, I see how this works. All right. All right. Eldon will do the chair spin.
Aha. Eldon, you have been chosen for the chair spin.
Chair spin. I think this is working now.
You have to watch not to lasso your neck in the headphone
Yeah,
cable.
this might be dangerous.
Okay, you got everybody on your screen?
Wait. Hang on.
Oh, wait a minute. What's going on here?
You stop sharing the your screen, Gary?
Okay.
Your door is still in
Gotcha.
the biggest part of the screen.
There you
I was
go.
going to say.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're there. I have to
Okay.
take this off.
Okay, here we go. Drum roll, please, for the chair spin. There goes Eldon.
Hi.
Here comes the finger of fate. Who is it, Eldon?
Peter.
Peter. Peter Angelos.
Great.
All right. So, Peter, what we'll need is 3 tracks from you, a photo that we can blackmail you with from when you were younger, and then just be prepared to just do a presentation of you in your life. Okay?
Okay.
No
Sounds
pressure.
Good. All right.
All right.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, guys. So,
Thanks, everyone.
yeah, Dale, you sent out the, I saw it in my email. You sent out the link for the ABM meeting, correct? Good. Yeah, some very cool stuff happened. See you on the other side, you guys. Bye-bye.